McShin Foundation is Virginia's leading peer-to-peer recovery organization. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, let us get you connected. We can help you build a solid foundation through recovery. Here at the McShin Foundation, we are committed to healing families and saving lives.
Okay, testing. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. Y'all ready to get some grief on? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna make you feel a little uncomfortable. But I'll tell you one of the most important things that I've learned in this past 2.5 years is that if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. We have a support group for that, and it has been very helpful in saving my life, my saving grace. So, I don't know if y'all noticed, because maybe a lot of y'all don't know me, but I'm dressed to the nines. And I just want you to know that the fact that I got out of my PJs, I went to work this morning, 4.5 hours, came home, put on my makeup, wearing this cute green dress for Talley, my son. He died 2.5 years ago. Green was his favorite color. He was a cool cat, very cool cat. And I miss him a lot. And, you know, when he passed away, the first thing I wanted to know was why. Why couldn't I help him? Why couldn't I save him? I'm his mom, I'm supposed to fix the boo-boos. Anything that's going on in the life of my son, my daughter, I'm supposed to help them. And I couldn't help him. And I feel like he really wanted to help himself. I want to talk a little bit about what type of person my son was, because he did die due to a heroin overdose, but he was much more than the disease that took him. And took his life. He was the kind of person that when you're walking up to Target, right? Have y'all ever seen those big concrete red balls? My son was the type of person who would jump, you know, legs out, or stand on it and say, "Mom, take a picture." That was him. He was always showing off. He was always full of joy in life. Another memory that I have that is really important to me, this might be a little illegal, we were in a car. At a stoplight. He loved cars. He had a 1991 Volkswagen Jetta, souped up. Mama in the passenger seat going on Midlothian towards Powhatan, pulled up next to a GT, Ford Mustang GT. Made a little sign language and they took off. Of course the GT won, but it was still fun to watch that motor. And that was exciting to him. He loved the sounds of engines. So when I lost Taylor, it wasn't like anything I can describe to you. Losing a child is the most debilitating and painful experience. I can't even put it into words if I tried. It sucks. But I'm getting through it, and I'm going to tell you how. Talking about him, sharing memories of him, talking with people that have had the same type of loss, not just losing a child, but the type of loss that we suffer from, which is the loss due to the disease of addiction. The reason it's different is we suffer with guilt. Are you guilty that your 85-year-old grandmother died, or did you have that feeling? No. You have that when you lose a friend or a loved one to the disease of addiction. We have shame. Sometimes we're ashamed to talk about what they suffered from, what it was like. We don't want to talk about it. We blame them, we blame ourselves. Stigma. I'm sorry, this is personal to me. Stigma kills. If we could talk more about what we're going through with the disease of addiction when they're suffering, I feel that people would be more able to get help quicker. They can talk and be received with compassion and empathy and understanding. And that's what people need. That's also what we need in our grief. When I share with total strangers how my son died, I can tell you I get that sign language, you know, where they go, oh. You know, turn their eyes away from me. Like, are you ashamed of what I just said? It's almost like they immediately feel something. I know everybody in this room has lost somebody, correct? To addiction. Who has lost someone to addiction? Yeah, that's a lot of us. So we feel these things. We also isolate. Sometimes we don't want to talk to anybody or be around anyone, although that is a part of grief. We have fear and anxiety. When my son died, I was worried about my other family members, and I lost another family member. His name was also Taylor. He was 11 months clean in 2018. By the way, that sound is a PTSD trigger for me, but I'm holding my you-know-what together right now. I suffer from those types of triggers. Sirens are hard because I've been to the hospital a lot of times. When I lost my cousin Taylor Ostendorf to a heroin overdose, you want to know how I found out? On Facebook. Don't do that. That's not right. The family needs to know. Having been a family member that's gone through it, it hurt. It was a shock, and it hurt. And it added additional trauma to an already sorrowful loss. A couple months after losing Taylor Ostendorf, I lost a good friend, Sean Sullivan in May. Some of you guys in the room probably know him. He was a great guy. Things were going really good for him. New job, new apartment, everything going very, very well. 3 years clean. He didn't make it by one choice, one night. I don't know why he used that night, because seemingly everything's going okay. But it can happen. The disease is cunning and sneaky. One thing that's different about my life right now, this is really hard to say, but it's accurate, it's honest. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm also looking forward to it, but not feeling like I want to go anytime soon. But that's the way I felt. I did feel suicidal when I lost my son. It wasn't until I talked to other moms and other dads and other brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents who had lost people just the way I lost Taylor, did I start to feel better. I could start to heal. That connection is crucial. I know it's hard to talk about. We do have a group here. We don't always cry. We actually crack up and do some pretty stupid, make jokes. But it's a place where you can be vulnerable and get it out. I encourage that. If you don't go, you can find a form of expression of your grief. Joseph is a prime example. He was using the expression of music and being creative. Music is good therapy. Art, writing. Those are all good avenues. So I have these cards. So I'm going to do something right now that is very important to me, and I'm very honored to do so. With the permission from a fellow Grapple member, Tracy, and in the words of her son Ryan, I'd like to share the following words written in his journal while in recovery. I honestly believe I can stay clean this time and stay out of jail. I believe I can earn my family's trust back. All of this can happen as long as I stay clean. I thought I was a functioning addict, but that was very far from the truth. I slowly destroyed everything in my life that was good. He was released from jail February 6, 2019. Ryan overdosed and passed away February 7, 2019. Thank you for letting me share that. I think that what it teaches us again is that recovery is possible from the disease of addiction. It will always be a battle. Just like for me, recovery and grief is a battle. I now have a full-time job, which is different because I didn't work. I worked in the community and did a lot of volunteer work after Taylor passed away. And I just started going back to work, and to hear people say, like, jokingly, I'm gonna kill you, right? Like, that's a trigger for me. I'm like, excuse me? Do you not know that I just lost a kid? But I didn't really just lose it. I lost it 2.5 years ago. But every day feels like the same day. We can get through it if we talk about it and we reach out. Don't be ashamed. The people you love that passed away, their life had meaning. It does not matter how they died, but I know it's a factor in this case. And it is a little more complex than your typical grief, your 5, 7 stages, whatever the heck they got now. It's more complex. Pay attention to when you feel it. Don't stuff it down. Feel it. Shit, I said a bad word, I'm sorry. But feel it. If you don't let yourself be emotional and vulnerable, it will stay stuck and it will come out in other ways, manifest with anger, it will manifest in depression, serious mental illness. I'm mentally ill. I'm not ashamed. But I'm going to be okay because I have a support network of grief recovery. She's showing me signs, so I'm closing up. There are grapple cards out on the table with the cookies and sweets. Call me, text me. Thank you very much.